We at the CPR Worldwide Media Network, your constitutional patriot radio station, would like to take a moment to reach out to a portion of our listening audience, to the NSA, the mainstream media, to liberals masquerading as conservatives who would like to see us off the air, and to those who are spinning their wheels trying to take us down. We have a special message just for you. At the CPR Worldwide Media Network, we're happy to be your 24/7, 365 obsession because, while you have your little panties in a wad, we're speaking truth to power, telling real conservatives what you don't want them to hear, the truth. And we're not gonna stop. Now then, back under your collective bridges with the rest of your fellow trolls, and oh yes, thanks for listening to CPR.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Listening to Right Side Patriots on CPR Worldwide Media, the Saturday edition.
We the people.
And good Saturday to everybody out there listening today. We're glad you're with us. Craig Andreessen from the National Patriot, along with Diane Sori from the Patriot Factor, your Right Side Patriots on a Saturday. Diane, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Craig, and I'm really good, and let's officially start the show.
Oh, there they are, the bugle salute.
Bugle salute. We are ready to go.
You know, people, if you're just now tuning in, you don't realize it, but Diane has made bugles a national priority on Right Side Patriots. She's always got to have the bag of bugles there, something to snack on, something to munch on during the show. And we know a lot of our listeners have their bugles at the ready as well. So, and I'm bugle free again. I've run out of bugles. I'm going to have to get some the next time we go to town, and that way I can join in the fun too.
Absolutely. But today, we should really call our show today the Saturday edition of the Friday Fume. Because, folks, we have a lot to fume about today. We're
a little upset today, folks. And we're going to do our best to have some fun during the show today. Don't get me wrong. We always have fun on Saturdays. We try to keep it a little bit lighter, maybe than the Wednesday shows. But, there's a lot to be upset about. And we're going to get to all of that coming up. Now, let me just tell you, too, if you missed our show last Wednesday, we had Waleed Shubat as our guest, and what a show that was. If you missed it, we're going to rebroadcast it right after this Right Side Patriots show. So when we're done here with our 2 hours, stay tuned, because there's another 2 hours of Right Side Patriots coming right up. And we will be getting, Diane, to our quick hitters today. Now, we missed those on Wednesday because we also had, as a special guest, we had Pastor Manning.
Yes.
And then we
Yes.
got into all the stuff with Waleed Shubat, so we couldn't do our quick hitters, and we never ever heard from our moderate Muslim intern Mohammed Hussein Obam from a
I
cave in the
know.
mountains of Tora Bora.
I know.
But I found out why.
I think we do need to let people know, though, that Waleed Shubat will be back on our show in a few weeks, because then we're going to be having a whole show about the Sharia and the dangers the Sharia poses to America. And don't think for a minute, folks, that it's not already making inroads here beyond Dearborn. It's everywhere.
It's
in
everywhere.
Small doses.
But
yes, and we need
what?
to stop it now.
I did find out why Muhammad wasn't with us on Wednesday. I
Oh,
found
really?
out. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Well, he's got a new girlfriend and he fell off a stepladder.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. She's a one-humper.
Oh,
So, he was recuperating from that, but he'll join us again here a little bit later in the show. But Diane, here's one of the things that you and I and a lot of other people are getting upset about, and that is Facebook. And personally, I'm in Facebook jail right now. I've been there for a little over a week, almost 2 weeks, and I've got until about the end of this month to go before I'm released on my own recognizance. But this is something that when Diane and I were talking a couple of months ago, I said, watch out, because we're going to start having these Facebook issues again, just like we had in 2012, leading up to the 2012 election. I said, it's going to start about maybe 6, maybe 5 months away from the election, and all of a sudden Facebook's going to crank up and we're going to have issues again. Well, here we are. It's 5 months until the November midterm election, and here we go again. Now, one of the guys, a fellow Patriot, a great friend on Facebook, and a fellow blogger and writer, he and you and I and so many other great Patriots went through this in 2012, and Joe Newby really, really brought the hammer down on Facebook and helped a lot of us out in the process. And we've got Joe on the phone right now. Joe Newby, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. How about you? I don't have any bagels, though, or bugles,
Bugles?
or whatever.
Bugles.
I don't have any bugles, no.
They're these little triangle salty things.
No,
Oh.
Joe has no bugles. Well, thanks for being with us, Joe. It was nice to hear from you.
Hey, my pleasure.
But now, Joe, you're in Facebook jail again too, as I understand it.
Yeah, I found out yesterday that I have been banned from posting in groups for some unknown reason and for an undetermined amount of time. And this is the third time in 3 months this has happened.
Well, they gave me 60 days, but they haven't told me why either.
They gave
So,
you 30 days. They gave you 30 days.
30. Yeah, you're the one that got 60.
You have a long way to go. You have a long way to go till you get to my 6 bannings with the 60 days.
I'm sure we'll all get there, well before the midterm election.
Joe
But-
and I
I don't
both
doubt
have
it.
been there.
But Joe, what's going on? I mean, you really took on the role of investigative reporter on this very issue back in 2012. Are you coming up with anything? What's going on now?
Well,
with this?
there's a whole slew of things happening, Craig, with Facebook, and you just kind of just maybe sliced one little peel of the onion here. Let me tell you what's happened in my world with Facebook here over the last couple 3 weeks, and maybe that will help shed some light on that. And it also ties into some of the things you were talking with Waleed Shubat earlier. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the page Islam Exposed, but here
Yes.
about 3 weeks ago, the administrators of this page, Craig, were receiving death threats from, from our good friends over in the Mohammedan religion. Were sending death threats, as part of their religious outreach. I understand they do that, So
Well, they are a
anyway,
faith-based organization, after all. I mean.
yes, that's true, faith-based. And, and it's kind of hard. Well, I hear it's kind of hard to get ahead in that. Really, no, never mind. I'm sorry. I'll leave the humor to you guys. Anyway,
That was ripe.
but anyway, the page was pulled. Facebook yanked the page and falsely claimed that they were engaged in harassment. And the reality is that the ones that were being harassed were the administrators of the page themselves. I caught wind of this, and I contacted Facebook and said, "What's up with this?" Well, I got a message back saying that, this was done by mistake. Okay, fine. So they restored the page, but the harassment continued. And here just the other day, Facebook yanked the page again, this time falsely claiming that they had posted pornography or nudity. And this is a very common tactic, Craig, and this is something that your listeners need to understand. This happens a lot. Now, I can tell you, as an administrator of the page, I can see the page, and I would swear on any number of Bibles that you want to stack in front of me, that there is nothing on this page, Craig, that is not even suggestive.
Now,
There's not even an outline of a bikini top, much less pornography or nudity.
now you don't happen to have a photo of our moderate Muslim intern and his new girlfriend on there, do you? The one humper?
No.
Okay.
In fact, the administrators of this page are pretty. Let me put it this way: they're dead set on this being used as a tool to educate people about Islam and about some of the issues surrounding Islam. So they don't post anything that's provocative. I mean, nothing whatsoever. But Facebook unpublished the page. Now, here's what else has been happening. The administrators have also been harassed by Facebook. One of them, one of the administrators, now you're going to love this one, Craig. One of the administrators put up a graphic that asked people to essentially abide by Facebook's community standards. Don't use overheated rhetoric. Don't use threatening rhetoric. Please don't do this. This kind of thing. And guess what? Facebook said that violated their community standards.
Stop right there. Hold on. So, putting up a post, I just got to make sure I got this right, because this is unbelievable. So, putting up a post on Facebook that says, "Please abide by Facebook's rules," is against Facebook's rules.
Essentially, yeah. Now, they didn't use those exact words. The administrators, they said, please refrain from, violent rhetoric or, demeaning rhetoric. We're here to educate people about Islam, blah, 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 blah. But that was the gist of the post. Please abide by Facebook standards. And Facebook said, no, this violates our standards. And not only that, Craig, they gave the administrator a 30-day ban for that.
That's unreal. I mean...
Yeah. Welcome to Facebook. But I'm telling you, the story gets even worse, Craig. I communicated with a counter-terror expert here, I guess a couple weeks ago, and who told me through these communiques that I received that he had managed to infiltrate a meeting of some Muslim leadership meeting that was being held in Dearborn, and he had managed to infiltrate this thing, and he told me that he was told by a representative of a certain Muslim group that I will not name, that they were working with social media sites like Facebook and Twitter to delete accounts of people critical of Islam. And
that means basically all of us on our side.
Yeah, essentially. Now, this is a pretty explosive charge, and being the journalist that I am, Craig, I reached out to Facebook and I reached out to this Muslim group in question, And I asked them for a comment. Is this true? Do you support this? What's up with this? I didn't hear anything back from Facebook. I didn't hear anything back from this Muslim organization that I will not name until after the article had been published. It had been out for an hour or two, and it had already begun to receive, thousands of views.
Right.
Suddenly, I get a message from this Muslim group saying, taking me to task, and I said, look, I wrote them back, and I said, here are 3 very simple questions. Is this true? Yes or no? B, do you support this kind of action? And C, how do you line this up with the First Amendment? Do you think people who are critical of the I word should have their social media accounts deleted? I never heard back. Within 2 hours, Facebook had flagged that article as being malicious.
Okay, now wait a minute. You gave them the chance to respond, and they didn't take it. And then they get mad because you published the article. I mean, well, this is what we see on a daily basis. I mean, not only from groups like that, but from liberals in general.
Absolutely.
We're seeing that kind of thing. Now,
Absolutely.
Diane, weren't you having problems last night, the night before, and then the night before that?
Yes.
In your postings, and you were getting weird error messages.
Yeah, I was getting error messages across the board. I was getting messages, you're posting too fast. I was getting messages, content messages. I was also being shut down, told my account was no longer in operation, and then 5 to 10 minutes later, my account would be back up. This was happening for about 3 or 4 days. I was also getting blocked from groups I've been a member of for quite a few years for no reason, and I can't even contact the people. I'm now not able to contact on chat certain people. I can contact some, but I can't contact others. It's almost like, we have Big Brother watching over us, and we know we have Big Brother watching over us, the Facebook gods with a little g, I call them. But this is to the point of ludicrousness. You say one thing against Obama, you say one thing against the muzzies, and yes, I will continue to use muzzies, and you say one thing against anything that doesn't go against, that doesn't support the liberal agenda, and you suddenly now, as we get nearer to November, we're getting more and more attacked. And it's happening on a daily basis, and it's growing. Yes, they zero in on certain ones of us, but now they're expanding.
Well, let me add this. Let me throw this in the mix, guys, because there's more to this story, believe it or not. After they censored the first article. Now, keep in mind that when they flag those articles like that, you can't share them, you can't like them, you can't even see them. And of course, this was based on a false or fraudulent report. And so naturally, what that means is that nobody can see it from Facebook. Now, the link is still out there on the internet, but you can't get to it from Facebook. So essentially, what Facebook did was there's no essentially. What they did was they censored me based on a false and defamatory report, and of course that hurts my bottom line. Now, that's not the first article. Well, that was the first article. They've done it to 2 others since. And we're talking about here, Craig and Diane, we're talking here in the space of, a week and a half maybe? They've done this to 2 other articles since. And guess what? All 3 articles, they had just one thing in common. Guess what it was?
What?
They all mentioned the I word.
Ooh.
You can say the I word on our show,
Okay,
we're not going to throw
they all
you
said
off.
Islam.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I think Muhammad's going to weigh in. Oh, jeez. I said it last week. It's like an audio hemorrhoid.
Seriously, they all mentioned Islam, and that was the one thing that all three articles had in common. They weren't even necessarily critical. In fact, two of the articles were about Facebook censoring people because of Islam. One of them was an article that, based on information I received from Gadi Edelman, another counterterror expert,
Right.
Who told me that he was having the exact same issues, that Facebook was also censoring his articles that mention Islam. So this is happening more and more. And now all of a sudden, Islam Exposed, a page with about 200,000 likes, or 209,000 likes, all of a sudden got unpublished. And there's a couple of interesting things about that. After the page was unpublished, now, you all know that when a page is unpublished, it is not, the only people who can see it are the administrators and Facebook. No one else. Okay?
Right.
It's not completely gone. It's still out there. It's just been unpublished.
Right.
The administrators can still see it. Facebook can still see it, but the internet community as a whole cannot. After the page was unpublished, the number of likes decreased.
Huh?
Meaning people had to unlike the page. Now, how can you unlike a page
That you
that
can't get
cannot
to.
be seen? That's right, if it's been unpublished.
Exactly. Right now, you're down
Answer me
to
that.
about 19,000. I'm sorry. Right now, you've gone from 209,000 to 14,069. That is a huge.
Well, no, that's actually the 14,000 that you're looking at, Diane. That's actually another page called Islam Exposed. There are two pages called Islam Exposed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the one Joe's talking about, you can't see.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it only brought up this particular page.
Right.
I
There are
see.
two pages put out. Yeah, that's right. There are
Okay.
two pages with the same, Islam Exposed. One is the truth about Islam. The other is the truth about radical Islam. Put up by the same people for the same purpose, but they're two different names.
Okay.
So anyway, the administrators put together, Craig, you're going to love this. They put together a very well written, very well prepared, I thought, 5-page Word document.
Okay.
5 pages, complete with photographic evidence, screenshots, screen captures, and of course they also have about 3 months worth of the page actually saved in a PDF file. And they have been very clear to Facebook that what Facebook did was based on a false report, which is defamatory, which is, depending on whether it's spoken or written, slanderous or libelous,
Right.
and is also actionable.
So is there
And
going to
they
be
also
action taken?
consider-
Now, first of all, when I got banned, when I got my 30-day ban, I didn't even mention Islam in the article I was posting the day I got banned. My
Right.
article was about the NRA and about the Santa Barbara shootings and the father of one of the victims blaming the NRA.
Right.
So mine had nothing to do with Islam
No.
whatsoever. But
No, and it doesn't have to. Anything essentially to the right of Joseph Stalin is suspect on Facebook. Let me tell you how bad things are on Facebook. I've started up another Facebook page about Facebook called F-Book Exposed. Facebook, by the way, wouldn't let me use the word Facebook in the title of the page about Facebook, but that's okay. But on that page, I have, Craig, pictures, I have articles about things that Facebook has done to their users that I've documented over the last 2.5 years, and that some other places has documented going back as far as 2009, which is as far back as this nonsense has gone that we know of. The problem is, I have seen people, Craig, literally punished by Facebook for clicking like. I have seen them punished for simply saying thank you. There was another conservative blogger, Julia Sieben. I think, Diane, you know Julia.
Yep.
She was banned by Facebook when she said when she thanked people who wished her a happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, what? What?
That's right.
Oh my God.
It was her birthday. You know how on Facebook, you can go on and you can wish people a happy birthday on Facebook?
They got that little
Well, that's
list.
what she did. Well, now, she's got a whole lot of friends. So she has all these people that's wishing her a happy birthday. So she does the right thing. She goes on and she says, thanks. Thank you. And she does it to each one. Tries to, anyway. I think she got through, I don't remember the exact number now, but she got through quite a few of them. And then all of a sudden, boom, she was banned for spam.
Well, one thing people need to understand about Facebook, and I've been saying this for a few years now, when Facebook decided to be a trading partner, a public trading partner on the New York Stock Exchange, even though they were a private company, they had to abide by the rules of the New York Stock Exchange. And the New York Stock Exchange does not censor except for, inciting violence, the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So before they became a trading partner on the New York Stock Exchange, they had every right to ban whoever they wanted. They were a private company. But once they joined the stock exchange, those rules went out the window. So they are not only breaking the rules of the New York Stock Exchange, which can actually get them thrown off if this was taken in the right direction.
Well, here's what I'm looking at, Diane. I'm thinking, there have been online protests. I have personally attempted to discuss this situation with people there at Facebook, including the head of their enforcement arm, to no avail.
Just the name enforcement arm, that should ring a bell.
Yeah, well, they call it something else. They have some fuzzy, feel good, politically correct name, but it is in essence their enforcement arm. And one of the things you got to keep in mind about Facebook, Craig, is the chief operating officer of Facebook is a woman who is who's actually one of the people who started up the campaign to ban the word bossy from the English language.
Oh, for God's
sake!
sakes.
So keep that in. Yeah, I'm serious.
Well, Joe,
I am dead serious.
Joe Doobie is our guest right now, and Joe, in just the couple of minutes that we have left, will there be any sort of legal action taken to get Facebook off this kick of kicking us off?
Well, that's a good question, and I wish I could give you a direct answer, Craig, because I'm of the opinion that it's going to take either one of two things, or in fact both, and that is either the mother of all class action lawsuits and or congressional action. And I do believe there needs to be congressional action here. And I'm, being a small government conservative with libertarian leanings, I am generally loath to mention such a thing. But the reality is, we regulate everything anyway. We regulate utilities, we regulate insurance companies, we regulate, the living daylights out of every industry out there. Facebook, in my opinion, has gotten so big and so powerful that it feels that it can do absolutely anything to anybody at any time for any reason or no reason whatsoever with zero consequences. And those days need to end, and they need to end now. And I believe Facebook needs to explain to the American people and to the representatives in Washington how it is that clicking like violates community standards, how it is that saying thank you violates their community standards, how it is that people like myself can be falsely targeted, and myself and Diane and you, Craig, can be falsely targeted for things that we never did or said based upon false and defamatory reports, while on the other hand there are certain people who are allowed, almost given carte blanche, to issue death threats and threats of rape on a routine basis. This nonsense has got to end, Craig, and like you said, I wish I could give you a straight answer. I don't know, but I think that's one of the two things that it's going to take to get this to stop. I really do. Either that, or people just simply quit using Facebook.
Well, but
Yeah,
the
but I don't
problem
think-
is Diane and I have both discussed this, we would love to just walk away from Facebook. And there are some other alternatives out there, but none of them have
Absolutely.
the scope, the reach, and the numbers that
Absolutely.
Facebook has. So therefore,
Absolutely.
we're kind of stuck with it. But Joe, we're going to have to take a break here and move on with the show. I want to thank you for coming on the show today. Joe Newby has been our guest. And Joe, I expect this Facebook issue to just get worse and worse as we get closer and closer to November. So don't be surprised if we have you on again.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for having me on and giving me an opportunity to talk about this. More and more people need to be aware of what's going on and need to be aware that there are alternatives and there are things they can do. And this is one of those cases where knowledge is power. And again, I thank you for having me on.
It's our pleasure. Diane said to me this morning, she said, let's get Newby. Let's get him on the show. And I said, you bet, because we got to talk about this and we got to make an issue out of this. And we'll stay on top of this. And, we'll come back to Joe Newby from time to time and have him on the show because, like I said, it's going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. Joe, thanks for being on Right Side Patriots today. Diane, we've got quick hitters coming up. That means Muhammad is getting warmed up over in the caves of Tora Bora.
Great. Can't wait to hear that voice.
Stand by, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with more Right Side Patriots.
Why do cities shine so bright? It's the glow of opportunities, of ideas bouncing off one another, of countless people, every one of us, striving to succeed. Right now, in cities everywhere, ideas are being born. New thinking that will put us in awe of what people are capable of. That's what lights cities up. And helping people and their ideas to burn even brighter, so that communities, businesses, and you and I can grow. What if a bank made that its job? For more than 200 years, Citi's job has been to help empower people and business. Now, around the world, it's wherever people gather, wherever ideas come alive. It's wherever you are. The world's city.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by CitizensUnited.org.
Fast on a rough road, riding high through the mountains, climbing, twisting, turning further from my home. Young, like a new moon rising, fierce through the rain and lightning, wandering out into this great unknown. And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I
And welcome back to Right Side Patriots. Craig Andreessen and Diane Sori with you today on a Saturday, and we are just having a ball today. Folks, I'll tell you, what a week we've had, huh, Diane?
Absolutely. It seems like it's been the Bergdahl news all week, nothing, nonstop. Everybody has forgotten about the veterans. Everybody has forgotten about Benghazi. But guess what, folks? We're bringing things back.
Well, we are, but we've got our quick hitters, and we're going to get into a little bit of this Bergdahl stuff during these quick hitters, folks. But let's see what we've got from our moderate Muslim intern, Mohammed Hussein Obama. Oh, it was so much nicer on Wednesday when he wasn't around. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, here's what we've got. Let's look at the list today. Yeah. Ooh. Look at this. Living here in Arizona, I got to tell you, we notice this. It's a little hard not to notice when you live here. Eric Holder is using border security money, the money that's been allocated to secure our borders, to pay for lawyers for the illegals that are being dumped on our side of the border so they can avoid deportation. Whose border security is he working for? Ours or theirs? I mean, this is what I don't understand. Right now, illegal aliens by the hundreds, by the thousands, are being dumped over in Texas. And what ICE is doing is they're taking those people, putting them on buses, sending them over here to Arizona, and some of them over to California, and just dumping them.
Well, they need their voting block, The election doesn't look too good for the Democrats come November. So they need to funnel all these people in and get them registered as Democrats.
Well, but Diane, some of these people aren't even old enough to vote. Do you realize that so far this year alone, 47,000 minors from Mexico have been dumped on this side of the border? These are kids. They don't even have parents with them.
Craig, but you forget something. Remember, the Democrats have dead people voting. So what does it matter if they have underage people voting? Just ship them in and sign them up.
Yeah, you make a good point there. But, here's part of the problem. These people, they're being dumped over here. They're just flooding across the border. ICE and our border security, who are supposed to be picking them up and sending them back, they've taken the money. Get this. So far, the regime has requested $2 billion, with a B, $2 billion to go to the fund to keep illegals from being deported. That's our taxpayer money.
Yep, I want my share of that taxpayer money back because I want the illegals rounded up and shipped the hell out of here. I have a phrase, it's very simple. Legals, yes. Illegals, no. Well,
there you go, making sense again.
Yeah, can't make sense, I guess.
Just stop
Not
it.
in Obama land, nope.
But for God's sakes, we, the taxpayers, are now paying for attorneys to keep these people from being deported?
Yep, it gets happier and happier every day here, folks, and we need to stop it. And the first thing to do is change that Congress red come November. That really has to be the main focus right now.
If we're going to take care of a lot of these issues, we have got to win the Senate come November. But here's an issue that not even the Senate can help. And that is Obama being in Normandy on D-Day yesterday.
Oh, God, yes. That irks me, no. And
Let me just tell people, Diane and I were on the phone together when Obama started blathering over there in Normandy. And I thought Diane was going to smash her TV. I mean, she was irate.
The man who defames our veterans, our troops every chance he gets, the man who shut down the World War II memorial to the heroes of World War II who are aging and fading fast, The man who has the VA scandal on his head and doesn't care. The man who traded the enemy for a traitor, he doesn't care. He had no business being there. And I'm trying to remain calm because I am on the air. But this man had absolutely no business honoring those he dishonors. He doesn't care about them. He doesn't care about the sacrifices they made. And that's very obvious because during his whole speech, he was cracking gum, folks.
Well, at
this
least
man
he was,
is a disgrace.
at least he was minty fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, minty fresh. Knowing him, he was probably chewing blackjack gum.
Well,
I don't know if that's still around, but I do vaguely remember some people chewing it where it turned their mouth black, their teeth black, and that would be just like him. But he was chewing gum, folks, as he was addressing the seriousness, the sacrifice these people made. He was there chewing gum.
well,
The
not
man
only that.
should have been thrown off the podium.
Not only that, Diane, but this is just awesome. There was a bunch of veterans that the White House went to and said, "Would you like to meet privately with the president?" And a whole bunch of them said no. They said,
Yes,
absolutely
they were still
not.
heroes today. Absolutely. But you know something? I would love to have a face-to-face with Obama because I would tell him off. He thinks women are emotional. You know, we women are emotional.
Well, you are.
He he ain't seen nothing yet. I would love to be locked in a room with that man. And I would have my hands tied behind my back because I'd love to scratch his eyes out with my long red nails. But I would love to tear that man apart with words, to tell him exactly what I think and what America thinks about him. He is a traitor. And that Bergdahl exchange, that nailed it. That nailed it. This man traded terrorists, killers, murderers, who the UN have designated war criminals. He traded them for one little traitor. Hello. That's why him standing there at Normandy just, I can't even talk about it. I just get so mad. Get so mad.
You know, you're bringing Bergdahl back into this thing. So as long as you've done that, let's look at this other thing on our quick hitter list today. Bergdahl's hometown of Haley, Idaho, I call it Taterville. Okay. They were going to have, on the 28th of this month, they were going to have this huge welcome home celebration for Bo Bergdahl. Oh, Bo Bergdahl's coming home. Well, everybody were going to have a celebration. Well, they canceled it, Diane. They said, you know what, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah, they claimed security issues. I guess, you know, for the 4 or 5 people that were going to be there, they didn't have enough security. But folks, you know, who are they kidding? They canceled it because even they have to know now that this man at least was a deserter, at most is an absolute traitor. You don't have a celebration for either.
You know, I even included this in the Friday Fume yesterday, and I said that, you know, holding a welcome home celebration for Bergdahl at this point would be like holding an all-you-can-eat picnic buffet for the lone survivor of the Donner Party. You know, I mean,
we laugh about it on certain aspects, but it is a very, very serious incident.
Well, it
very
is.
Serious.
And here's the last thing on our list, Diane, is that Obama actually did negotiate with the Taliban.
Well, this, folks, and this we want to break on Right Side Patriots. It was sent to me back in July 2002. President Bush listed the Taliban as a terrorist organization. We had no business doing anything. He did it through an executive order. And as you all know, when a new president comes in, they can change and remove executive orders from previous presidents. Now, if you remember all this week, Obama's been bloviating all over he did not negotiate with terrorists. Of course he didn't, because when he took office, he rescinded Bush's executive order listing the Taliban as terrorists. It came to light today, well, probably yesterday, more so than today, that his own people have now admitted that Barack Hussein Obama negotiated with terrorists.
Okay, hold on. I want people to really understand this, because this is really, really important, Diane. Somebody in Obama's administration admitted that he did, in fact, negotiate with terrorists?
Absolutely. The spokesperson, I'm trying to get the name now, but my computer is acting wonky, and I can't get into my own thing. Here it is. I've got it. The Obama administration has acknowledged that the Taliban is a terrorist organization because, are you ready for this, folks? The White House National Security Council spokesperson, Caitlin Hayden, noted that the Taliban was added to the list of specially designated global terrorists by executive order by George Bush in July 2002. So Barack Hussein Obama, when he took office, took that executive order out so he could play footsie with his brethren.
Now, do we know for sure at this point whether he negated that executive order, or has he simply ignored that executive order? Are we clear on that yet?
I would assume he negated it, because according to research that both of us have done and pulled up the list of countries that are terrorists, groups that are terrorists, they're no longer listed. But in 2002, they were listed. So that would lead us to believe that it was negated.
Well, now, one thing I noticed when I looked at that list that came from the State Department today, they list out all the different organizations that are listed as terrorist organizations. And it came directly from the United States State Department. And I did not even see on that list the United States State Department. And I'm just saying, if any group or organization should be listed on that terrorist watch list, it should be them.
Exactly. I mean, look at who's in our State Department. I mean, the people we've had, Hillary, and now we have Mr. Swiftboat himself. I mean, and they're now in cahoots with the Taliban. People, you need to understand this. George W. Bush listed them in 2002 as a terrorist organization. Now, under Barack Hussein Obama, they are no longer listed. They got caught. That's why that statement had to be issued today by his spokesperson, because they were caught. Barack Hussein Obama has definitely, unequivocally negotiated with terrorists, and he did it by taking them off the list, by rescinding, we assume rescinding, George W. Bush's executive order listing them as terrorists. So, folks, the American people have been lied to yet again. It's on the same line as, if you like your insurance, if you like your doctors, you can keep them. But this time, folks, it's even more serious than that, because this has cost countless American lives. Because all these years, that POS in the White House has said they're not terrorists. Well, guess what, folks? They are.
Well, he just keeps trying to sweep that stuff underneath the prayer rug in the Oval Office and hopes that nobody will notice the giant lump that's growing underneath there. And here's the thing that amazes me the most about this, Diane. He actually got caught in a lie.
Yes, in an absolute lie. But they're spinning it. But they're busy spinning it now.
They're spinning everything.
Are spinning it now. And it's just amazing, folks. But what amazes me about all this, here it is now, Craig and I have exposed the whole Bergdahl thing, bringing it back to his father. Others have exposed the Bergdahl thing. The talking heads on TV have all been talking about it. Yes, he's a traitor, if not just a deserter, whatever. And our Congress sits back and they just talk the talk and they do nothing. Here it is now. We are exposing, along with, this appeared first in Jihad Watch, which was sent to me extremely early this morning. Here it is exposed that this man took terrorists and sort of swept them under the rug when he came into the Oval Office and negotiated with them. And Congress, immediately when this broke, should have had the Provost Marshal at the White House calling for this man's arrest.
Well, and we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show because Diane and I have both done articles regarding that very topic this week, and we're going to draw some more attention to those. But Diane, I got to tell you, if my ceiling fan would spin as fast as this Obama regime, it would suck my carpet all the way up to the ceiling.
Hey, I'll go one better. It would actually lift my tiles off the floor.
I mean, I've never seen anything like this. You know, you got to figure at this point, you know, Obama, wherever he is, I don't even know if he's back in Washington yet or not. But, you know, next time he leaves Washington, would somebody please change the locks on the White House? But, you know, he's got to figure at this point, you know, he's got to wish he had never even heard the name Bo Bergdahl at this point.
Exactly. And this was a stunt. This timing of the release right now, because folks, the man is not in bad health. The pictures prove it. This was all done for political expediency, because he knows his party's going to lose in November, and he needed a big sort of shot in the arm, and he thought everybody would be, oh my God, Bo was released. Well, it backfired on him, folks.
Just a little.
Just a little. And we need to keep it going, because now with this new information about the Taliban having been on a terrorist list, this is serious. This now is no longer just about Bo anymore. This is about the President of the United States knowingly getting rid of someone he wanted to deal with down the road from the U.S. terrorist list. This is more serious than it first appears.
It's getting worse every day, folks, and that's why we've been on this. You know, Diane in the Patriot Factor, myself in the National Patriot. That's why we've been on this all week. It's not just because this is the latest shiny ball distraction, but this thing is getting worse by the minute. And we're going to go into that into some depth here coming up after the break, because Diane has got a great article, and if you haven't read it yet, I would really encourage you to do it. Go to thepatriotfactor.blogspot.com. It's all about Obama's aiding and abetting the enemy, and this thing really, really lists out the felonious activity, the illegal activity that's being engaged in by this regime. Diane, we're going to get into that coming up here in just a couple of minutes after the break. Folks, we've still got a lot of show to go here on Right Side Patriots today, so don't go anywhere. We're coming back after a little music from Hank Williams Jr. and a quick station ID. Stay with us on Right Side Patriots.
Go find a network wants to treat me right. Y'all can take the change and stick it out of sight. Don't tread on me. Don't you tread on me. Hey, are you ready for some good news? We're gonna take back our country. Well, it used to be easy, get a place, build a house. Now the EPA said no, that's the home of the blue mouse. Don't tread on me. Don't you tread on me. We're gonna use some common sense and we're gonna take back our country. Well, they've beaten to death that pole race horse. This politically correct thing has run its course. Don't tread on me. lots of divorces from showing them bangs.
Why don't you mind your own business?
That's good advice.
Mind your own business.
Dad got it right.
But if you mind your business, then you won't be minding mine.
Every sign says for sale, for lease, price reduced, make an offer, please. Don't tread on me. Don't you tread on me. Hey, are you ready for some good news? We're gonna take back our country. There's no way today we could build Boulder Dam. There'd be way too many government permit scams. Don't tread on me. Don't you tread on me. Hey, are you ready for the good news? We're gonna take back this country. Hey, Barack, pack your bags, head to Chicago. Take your teleprompter with you so you'll know where to go.
So move it all over. Move it all over. Move it all over. Move it all over. Move over, little dog, 'cause the big dog's moving in.
Hey, 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 move it on over.
Move it on over.
Slide it on over.
Move it on over.
Hey, are you ready for some good news? Are you ready for some good news? We're gonna take back our country. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I believe that every single one of us has what it takes
to win back-to-back gold.
Ski faster than any other human.
I believe it's possible to overcome fear.
I believe
it's possible to destroy stereotypes.
To start over, to be the toughest,
The strongest.
the bravest in the world. And when we work together, we can make it all possible. That's why Citi has donated $500,000 to its Every Step of the Way program, an initiative created to help future athletes reach their full potential through sport programs that inspire us. Like figure skating in Harlem.
like youth enrichment services, like Team for Tomorrow.
The Team USA Stay on the Slopes initiative. Now spread the word and help decide how much of that money goes toward
Offering personal support and financial assistance to Olympians in need.
Promoting the growth of hockey in the U.S.
expanding the sport of luge into new regions.
Support for wounded service members. Join Team Citi and let's turn a world of potential into reality.
Go to citi.com/everystep and help decide where the money goes.
We at the CPR Worldwide Media Network, your constitutional patriot radio station, would like to take a moment to reach out to a portion of our listening audience, to the NSA, the mainstream media, to liberals masquerading as conservatives who would like to see us off the air, and to those who are spinning their wheels trying to take us down. We have a special message just for you. At the CPR Worldwide Media Network, we're happy to be your 24/7, 365 obsession because, while you have your little panties in a wad, we're speaking truth to power, telling real conservatives what you don't want them to hear, the truth. And we're not gonna stop. Now then, back under your collective bridges with the rest of your fellow trolls, and oh yes, thanks for listening to CPR.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
And time to speak out. We've got to fight to get it back out. We shall get the thieves out. This country's us, and we're taking it back. We the people.
Welcome back to the second hour of Right Side Patriots on the CPR Worldwide Media.
We the people.
And we're back with yet another hour of Right Side Patriots right here on CPR Worldwide Media. Diane, I've got to apologize for my throat today because it's like pollen palooza around here right now. It's terrible.
It's the same thing happening here in Florida. I keep clearing my throat too. All our palm trees are pregnant, folks. All the coconuts are starting to come out, and the little fuzzy yellow things they give out when they first come out. It's all over the place. Our yards are loaded with the little yellow crap, and it seems like winter is finally over.
I'm just telling you, we don't have palm trees here, but apparently our pine trees are having sex because they're pushing pollen everywhere. And I mean, I went outside my car yesterday. My car is covered with that yellow dust, the pollen dust.
Yep.
And everything. And I'm telling you, it's really getting thick. Out here in the forest. I guess it is down there, with your palm trees too. But, folks, I apologize. If my voice sounds a little rough today, if Diane sounds a little rough today, we're on pollen patrol is what we're doing. But Diane, before the break, I alluded to this article that you have out in your blog, The Patriot Factor, thepatriotfactor.blogspot.com. all about Obama's aiding and abetting of the enemy. And I want you to really get into that in this segment here. And folks, our call-in number, if you want to be a part of the show this afternoon, 928-255-0201. 928-255-0201 if you want to weigh in on these topics. But Diane, go ahead and tell everybody what research you did and what you discovered in the process.
Well, all week, Craig and I have both been looking into the legalities of the Bergdahl transfer. Craig handles certain ends, I handle certain ends, and we pretty much covered it all. 2 days ago, I brought up about that he has also committed sedition in regards to aiding and abetting the enemy. But in today's article, when I started researching yesterday, I came across something that is even worse than sedition. And of all people, Hamid Karzai actually put it in a nutshell when he said no government can transfer citizens of a country to a third country as prisoners. And you know what? He's got it right. Because that is not only international law, but guess what, folks? It's buried in our U.S. law. It's buried in the law in our own Justice Department, under something that's called Guidelines for the Evaluation of Transfer Applications of Federal Prisoners. And these Taliban were indeed federal prisoners. In fact, the exact wording, there's 2 areas that I found that directly apply to what Obama did. The first one was, no prisoner should be traded if said prisoner, and this is a quote right from the DOJ, has criminal ties to the receiving country, as transferring him could well be more likely to facilitate reintegration into his criminal milieu. They threw some French in there. Milieu. Than to facilitate rehabilitation into civil society. Now, when you think about it, of course these 5 have criminal ties to Qatar, because the main Taliban office is located in Qatar, and guess what? That office is tied in directly to the Taliban military command back in Afghanistan. So right then and there, he broke the law there. But here's one that is extremely important, folks.
Okay, now I just want to let people know, it goes from the frying pan to the fire, from bad to worse. Now,
exactly.
as bad as it is, that he transferred these prisoners to Qatar, a country where they have criminal ties already. This puts the exclamation point on it. Go ahead.
Okay, this is even worse. This is a biggie, folks. Okay. In order to do these kind of exchanges, we need to have treaties in place or agreements in place with the different countries that we trade prisoners with. That's pretty common knowledge. But guess what, folks? The U.S. does not, and I'm going to repeat this again, does not have a prisoner exchange agreement, a bilateral transfer agreement, or any agreement of any kind for prisoner transfers, not only not with Qatar. We not only have that agreement, we don't have that agreement with Qatar. We also do not have that agreement with Afghanistan or Pakistan either. Now remember, Pakistan was supposed to be our ally, and that it seems that Bergdahl was held there for a certain amount of time. And here it is, we don't have an agreement with our ally for prisoner transfer. We don't have an agreement with Afghanistan, who American blood is being shed for. We don't have an agreement with prisoner transfer for them, and we don't have one for Qatar where they were transferred to.
Okay.
So, folks.
Now let's recap here the last, let's say, 15 minutes of this Right Side Patriot show for our listeners. Okay. The Taliban is indeed a terror organization, so Obama negotiated with terrorists to get our deserter and most likely traitor, Bo Bergdahl, back.
Yes.
He sent 5 of the worst scum of the earth that we had in Gitmo, federal prisoners in Gitmo. He sent them over to Qatar, even though those prisoners have criminal ties to Qatar, which is in and of itself illegal.
Correct.
But he also did this without having any kind of prisoner trade, prisoner transfer agreement, either with Qatar or Afghanistan or Pakistan.
Exactly. And in our own Department of Justice guidelines, if you will, telling how we can transfer prisoners, he broke 3, at least 3, if not more, but these were the top ones. Rules of United States law. He broke it in our faces. And Craig and I, being snoopy reporters that we're accused of being. Oh, by the way, hi, NSA. I forgot to say hello today.
Oh, we've been neglectful.
Neglectful. But us being the snoopy reporters that we are, we did our research. And we found, and Craig will go into what he found also, stuff that, my God, I cannot understand for the life of me how Congress has not called for this man's impeachment and then arrest. This is, he outwardly broke United States laws, the Justice Department's laws, to release these 5, as Craig says, scum of the earth, to kill our American troops again. And by the way, yesterday another American was indeed killed in Afghanistan. That murder needs to be placed on Obama's head.
Well, we need to find out if that murder is connected to these 5. And, you know, here's the thing, Diane. I mean,
any murder, Craig, excuse me, but any murder from this point on needs to be put on the shoulders of Barack Hussein Obama, because he announced the date of our withdrawal again.
Well, that's true. He you know, basically why doesn't he just pick up the telephone and dial the number and go, hello, enemy, this is when we're going to be leaving. Here's our plans. Mark this date in your calendar, because essentially that's what he does.
And he essentially did it. And it's to the point of, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Afghan Taliban leader, Mullah Muhammad Omar, one of the few that have a name that we can actually pronounce, has gone on a publicity tour, if you will, through Afghanistan and said, we now have victory over the United States. They're releasing these 5 of our hierarchy gives us victory.
Well,
you want to know something? He's right. Our president has now actually lost the war for us because our men and women over there now are sitting ducks.
Well, and people need to understand exactly who these 5 were. Now, I'm not even going to begin to try and pronounce their names because if I do, my tongue will snap off its roller. But these 5 guys, these 5, Taliban terrorists, these people are to the Taliban exactly what Osama bin Laden was to Al-Qaeda. These are the masterminds of Taliban attacks and terrorism. These are their generals. These are the people who sit around and scheme up and come up with these plans and then put them out there to their Taliban boots on the ground and have these plans put into action. That's who these are. These are the highest 5 generals of the Taliban. We've had them over at Club Gitmo for a decade.
Yeah, they're going home fatter than when they got in there. Is that amazing, folks? I saw the pictures today.
Yeah. I mean, they've been treated well. Look, obviously, they haven't spent a lot of time out exercising on the soccer field at Gitmo.
No.
But they have spent a lot of time in the cushy recliners that we, the taxpayers, supplied to Gitmo, and they've been eating all the good food that we supplied over the Gitmo. And of course, the ones that go on the hunger strikes, we force feed them the good food while they sit in the recliners and literally play the video games that we supplied them in Gitmo. Okay? But these 5 terrorists have already said, we're going back to Afghanistan and we're going to re-engage and fight against the Americans in Afghanistan. Now, the deal, if you can even call it a deal with Qatar that Obama set up for this, was that the government of Qatar would keep an eye on these 5 terrorists for a period of a year and not let them travel outside the border of Qatar.
Yeah,
well,
so
it's
they're
been
going
a
to
week.
guard the whole border. Yeah, right.
Here, Diane, here's the thing. It's been a week. It was a week ago today. You and I had just gotten off the show. We hadn't been off this show, Right Side Patriots, last Saturday for more than 5 minutes before news came across that Bo Bergdahl was coming home, and we broke into our rebroadcast and announced that. Well, then, the manure started hitting the manure spreader right after that. And we started finding out exactly what this was all about. Okay? But it was a week ago today that this deal was made and these 5 were shipped out. I would challenge the government of Qatar right now, right this very minute, to show us where all 5 of those terrorists are right now. I'll bet you anything they have no idea where those 5 terrorists are right now.
I would almost put money that they're back in Afghanistan.
They had a big homecoming celebration. They didn't cancel their homecoming celebration over there in Qatar.
No.
The way Haley, Idaho canceled theirs. Oh, no. They had their homecoming celebration, and there was all this Allah Akbar and, all this crap going on. And, men jumping around in dresses with tablecloths on their heads. And everybody was happy. Okay?
Exactly.
These people, these 5 terrorists, Diane, they have been singled out by the United Nations, of all people.
The useless nations actually got something right.
The United Nations of thugs, thieves, and despots have called these people international criminals. Do you realize, folks, how bad you have to be as a Muslim before the UN says you're a criminal? Usually they just give people like that a seat on the International Human Rights Council.
Exactly. We are talking about people that probably would have done Hitler proud, and his SS proud. These people are scum. They have murdered thousands, including men, women, children, infants, babies. These are a perfect example of the words piece of shits. That's what these people are.
And let me just...
For the UN, the useless nations, to say they're war criminals, Hello, folks, you really have no clue how bad these 5 are. And our president designated them as POWs so he could trade their POWs for our POW, Bo Bergdahl. But I hate to tell Obama, none of them are POWs. Bergdahl walked away on his own.
Well,
he's no prisoner of war.
You know, Bergdahl, as it turns out, was not a POW. He's just a POS. And, you know, that's really what it comes down to. There's a memo that came out from the Pentagon back in 2010 that said Bergdahl deserted. From the Pentagon.
Yes.
Okay, the men with whom he served in Afghanistan all know the truth. And they all say that he walked out. He was a deserter. He even left a note saying, I've left to go start a new life. They know that he was wandering around that part of Afghanistan in the little town outside where their encampment was, asking people where he could find the Taliban, because he wanted to go join them, and he did. We also know now from a secret document that's not secret anymore that he converted to Islam in 2010. Okay?
Exactly.
So we traded 5 of the worst, the generals of the terrorist Taliban, for a deserter and who is most likely a traitor to get him back. Now, not only that, Diane, because that is where all this story is just swirling, like water in a toilet bowl. It's just swirling around and around and around. What people need to keep in mind is that in engineering this trade, Obama actually committed felonies. Now,
yes.
Diane, if you committed a felony or I commit a felony, what happens to us?
We get hauled off in jail and a farce of a trial, and we get thrown in prison for years. Obama gets away with everything, and that is, folks, that in and of itself is a crime. We have laws in this country, and those laws apply not only to we the people, but it also applies to the President of the United States. And I don't care if Obama thinks himself king or dictator or whatever he wants to call himself. He has to abide by the United States laws. Now it's time that Congress does their job and enforce those laws on him. And that means arresting, trying, convicting, and sentence carried out for treason in the guise of aiding and abetting the enemy. And you want to know something? You can throw in charges of murder there too for Benghazi. This man is the ultimate danger to this country. It's beyond anything that you or I out there in Radio Land can imagine. Because here it is, we are finding he's committed sedition. He's committed out and out, in your face treason, as far as I'm concerned, by removing President Bush's executive order so he could deal with these people. This man is not who he purports himself to be. He's not a Christian. I don't care how much he claims it. He is a Muslim. He is the enemy. And I wish someone would roll him up in his prayer rug, throw him over their shoulder, and get him the hell out of the White House.
You know, last Saturday, Bob Bergdahl stands out there in the Rose Garden and literally, not figuratively, literally claims the White House for Islam. Mm-hmm. He blesses the White House for Islam, and he utters the Islamic victory speech.
Yes.
In getting his son back. This was after he tweeted to a known terrorist and mouthpiece for a known terrorist organization that he is still working to get the rest of the prisoners, not terrorists, prisoners out of Gitmo. And Obama has him standing out there in the Rose Garden, holds this big Rose Garden ceremony. Look what we did. We got Bo Bergdahl back. And the whole thing was literally to announce from the White House to the world that the White House has now been claimed for Islam.
I mean, there's steam coming out of my head, folks. Literal steam coming out of my head. Because we've been duped. We were duped about Bo, and many of us, myself included, wrote articles to get him home. People donated to get him home. People held barbecues and rallies and this and that, all to get home what we thought, what we were told was an American prisoner of war.
Well, you're right, Diane, and we're talking about good people. We're talking about
Exactly.
people with good hearts, with big hearts, that thought for all the world that this guy, Bo Bergdahl, was a POW. He was being held against his will, because this is what we were led to believe. And these are people who wanted to get Bo back.
Exactly.
And you know, they engaged in social media. They, like Diane said, they had rallies and picnics and barbecues and this and that. You know, and then a week ago today, they found out they had been lied to for 5 years. That the truth about Bo Bergdahl had been kept from them by this administration for 5 years. Now, there were those little leaks. I mean,
yes.
Rolling Stone back in 2012, Michael Hastings wrote an article labeling Bergdahl as a deserter. And Hastings himself was immediately investigated by the FBI for it. And then very shortly after that, he was killed in a car crash.
Yes, very coincidental.
Very coincidental.
It could be a coincidence, but, you know.
You know, I mean, it starts to stink from the ground up, folks. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the documents from the Pentagon kept under wraps by this administration that showed that Bo Bergdahl was a deserter. Mm-hmm. The information that he had actually converted to Islam kept from the American public by this administration, folks.
And you forget one very, very important thing. The people in his unit, in his platoon, who were with him in Afghanistan, who saw him write these notes, who heard him say these things against America, they had to sign a disclaimer that they would not speak about it. Or else. We don't know what the or else is. It was some kind of threat, obviously. And one or two of them kind of broke their silence in the past few years, but now they're coming out in droves saying this man was a deserter. And in fact, Megyn Kelly had on her show, The Kelly Files, the other night, I believe it was 6 of them who were in his unit who knew him well. And all 6 of them said he deserted of his own free will. But what's worse than that is now the left is starting to spin what these true heroes are saying and saying they're psychotic. They're psychotic. Bergdahl is a hero. Remember, Susan Rice said he served honorably and as a hero. Susan Rice really needs to stay off the Sunday talk show circuits because after Benghazi, she's just a fool. But they had to sign an agreement, folks, that they wouldn't talk.
Well, and
That's a cover-up. That is a cover-up.
In just the couple of minutes we have left in this segment, let me add a little bit to that. Now, you know, Diane is right. You know, we've got people from this administration that are saying that the men who served with Bergdahl are psychotic because they you know, there was a huge lack of leadership and it was their fault that he turned and walked away. Okay? But what they're failing to address is that a week ago today, over at Bagram Air Force Base, that's where you would have found the Muzzy-loving Chuck Hagel. Mm-hmm. Okay? Our Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, was over there at Bagram Air Force Base, and he made the announcement to the assemblage of U.S. military personnel at Bagram that Bo Bergdahl was coming home. They got Bo Bergdahl out. And he was met with absolute silence. Nobody applauded, nobody cheered, not one of them. So are they all psychotic, or did they all know the truth?
And here's something else, folks, that a lot of people haven't thought about. Bo is now in American custody for 1 week. He, as of now, still has not spoken to his parents, nor have his parents made any effort to go to Germany to see him. Not one effort. That is suspicious in and of itself. If that had been my child, my son, you couldn't hold me back. The hell with a phone call. I would have crawled over there if I had to.
You know, I can't really blame Bo for not talking to his dad for the last week. I wouldn't want to talk to that guy either. He's a squirrel turd. I mean,
the father is at the bottom of this, because one of the pieces you really need to read that Craig put out on the National Patriot, he exposes the details of his father's involvement with Islam and with the Taliban. I've touched upon it in my articles, but in one of Craig's, he went into in-depth investigating about it. And people, you really need to check that out. This is just bigger than we ever suspected. But the bottom line is, the President of the United States broke United States laws to bring home a traitor and release back into the fold 5 of the world's most terrible, most horrible, I don't even have words to describe them, killers, murderers. And he knew what they were, and he still released them. And guess who's going to pay? American blood. The American blood of our troops is going to pay for it. This man needs to go.
Diane, we're going to have to take a quick break. We've got one more segment coming up on Right Side Patriots, and we're not done yet, folks. We've got more to tell you about this whole Bergdahl situation, so stay with us. We're going to hear a little bit from Ray Stevens before we get back. We're all living in an Obama nation.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Dad, Katy Perry is coming to town. Can we get tickets, please?
Tickets? Sure, how many?
Well, there's Hannah and Maddie and Jen and Sarah and Sarah.
Whoa, hold on. Here it comes. We can't forget about your older sister.
Thank you.
Seriously? What? I get 2 times the thank you points on each ticket. Can I come? Yeah.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on entertainment and dining out with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
Well, it started back in 1776. We told old King George we were sick of his tricks. Started our own thing, called it the USA. Then things went fine till 1864. We had a little falling out called the Civil War, but we got through that, and once again we were on our way. We saw 2 world wars and the Great Depression. Korea and Vietnam sure made an impression. Presidents lied to us on TV, but look at what we got today. It's an Obama nation. Yeah, that's what we got. It's an Obama nation. And you can like it or not. You can't forget about how we did it yesterday. Obama is changing things, he's doing it his way. And all that I can say is, it's an Obama nation. Yeah. Well, now he doesn't seem to care about the Constitution, that's passé. He's got new solutions, and no need to bother Congress, they just get in his way. With executive orders and a room full of czars, he's taking over banks and building our cars. He wants to run health care and control our take-home pay. His Keynesian ways are increasing our debt. We haven't even seen the start of it yet. Our grandkids are gonna be paying till their dying day for this Obama nation. Yeah, that's what we got. It's an Obama nation. And you can like it or not. It's tax, spend,
attacks, he's gonna break us all. But let's face the facts, he told us what he's gonna do. It's his Obama-nation. Well, he bristles at liberal or socialist. He prefers progressive, but you can bet on this. No matter what you call it, friend, it's an Obama-nation. Yeah, you know, I think he wants to change USA to USSA, United Socialist States of America. Ha! Well, das Spadanya, comrade. Woo! Have mercy. Hey, you with the Obama sticker on your bumper. How is that hope and change working for you? You know me, I'm just hoping I'll have some change left in 2012. But that
Welcome back to Right Side Patriots. I'm Craig Andreessen from the National Patriot, along with Diane Sori from the Patriot Factor, and we are just cruising through a Saturday. But folks, if you missed our show last Wednesday, the one with Waleed Shabbat and Pastor Manning, we're going to rebroadcast that right after this show at the top of the hour. So make sure you stay tuned for that if you missed it. Even if you didn't, Waleed Shabbat was a great guest, Diane.
Yes, he was, and he will be back because we'll be doing a show on the Sharia down the road, probably after we're at Gettysburg, but he will be back.
Well, we promise you we're not quite done going off on this whole thing about Bergdahl and the trade and the Gitmo 5 and all of this. And in the time we have left today, we want to bring out the fact that Diane and I, and this was, I got to give you full credit for this, Diane, this was your idea to put this petition together. I had written an article, and on June 4th, a few days ago, pollen attack, excuse me, I'd written this article, and Diane said, we need to put a petition on this. And the stuff that Diane just explained to you from her article that's out today in the patriotfactor.blogspot.com, we're going to add this to the stuff in the petition. But Obama, in doing this trade, actually violated 18 U.S. Code number 2339A. And this is a felony, folks. This is yet another felony aside from the ones that Diane just described a few minutes ago right here on Right Side Patriots. This is a code about providing material support to terrorists. And by trading these people, these Gitmo 5 terrorists, for Bergdahl, by giving them to Qatar and knowing full well that they're going to go back and engage against U.S. forces and most likely even U.S. civilians, Obama has committed a felony. He has provided material support to terrorists. Now, on the off chance that you think that material support simply means things like weapons, okay, let me read to you directly from 18 U.S. Code 2339A. The term material support or resources means any property, tangible or intangible, or service, including currency or monetary instruments. And I'm going to interrupt myself right there because we are now also getting reports that along with the Gitmo 5, it looks like Obama gave money to the Taliban to the tune of $5 to $6 million.
Yes.
In this trade as well. So let me start this over. The term material support or resources means property, tangible or intangible, or service, including currency or monetary instruments or financial securities, financial services, lodging, training, expert advice or assistance, safe houses, false documentation or identification, communications equipment, facilities, weapons, lethal substances, explosives, and here's where it gets interesting, personnel, one or more individuals who may be or include oneself, and transportation, except for medicine or religious materials. Now, these 5 people from Gitmo, these terrorists from Gitmo, qualify under personnel, one or more individuals. He gave them back to the Taliban, to a known terrorist organization. He also provided them transportation to get there. So he has committed felonies. Felonies under 18 U.S. Code number 2339A. Now, you have to start looking at this. Well, if that's a felony, there must be a penalty. Okay? According, again, to 18 U.S. Code number 2339A, anybody convicted of this crime shall be fined under this title in prison not more than 15 years or both. So just by engineering the trade, he could be up to 15 years in prison plus a hefty fine. Okay?
I like the next part of that penalty.
This is very important, folks. Again, quoting from 18 U.S. Code number 2339A, all right? Anybody convicted shall be in prison for any term of years or for life if somebody is killed because of the breaking of this law. Now, it does not say if an American military person is killed. It does not say if a civilian from America is killed. It says if anyone is killed. Anyone. So that can include people in Afghanistan because we know they've got targets on their backs now too. Exactly. If anybody dies as a result of the Gitmo 5 being released by a felonious act of Obama, he could get up to life in prison.
And remember, folks, yesterday a young man, 20 years old, was killed by the fighters in Afghanistan. If they could put it together that they were Taliban that killed him, Taliban who came under the orders of these 5, you got Obama right there again.
Well, now, given this, just this stuff about the article that I wrote, we attached to that a petition. Diane went in and filled out this petition. Now, we are going to add the other felonies that Obama has incurred just in this Bergdahl thing. Now, look, we realize that we could do petition after petition after petition. We could name felony after felony after felony, treasonous act after treasonous act from the last 5 or 6 years, okay? But right now, we're just dealing with this one thing that happened a week ago. Just to make the point that just in one single act, Obama has created or committed, I should say, multiple felonies.
Yes. And our Congress is sitting back and doing nothing. They're all talking, they're all yapping. You have McCain on, you have Graham on, you have Rubio on, you have Cruz on, you have all the name people in our party, and I'm sorry to say, but the rhinos still are people of name. You have them all talking out against what was done, but yet none of them have actually taken action. Now, I did get word very late last night that Ted Cruz is going to be bringing some kind of bill to the Congress this week that if he releases one more detainee from Gitmo, they will bring in the articles of impeachment. However, Obama has already said he's going to be releasing a 6th. Now, does that mean that is going to be grandfathered in and this is going to be new from this point on? Or will they stop that 6th one from being released? We don't know, because we the people are lied to just left and right. We don't know truth anymore. We just don't know it, folks.
Diane's right. We have to, as citizen journalists, because the mainstream media isn't going to do this, we have to start looking at this stuff and scrutinizing every single thing that comes out, because we're getting lied to that quickly about too many different things. But, I know a lot of people say, well, here's another petition to impeach Obama. There's already, 100 of them out there. Okay, well, here's the thing, folks. We don't expect Obama to be impeached because we put up a petition. But here's the thing. If we can get 100,000 people to sign it, not a million, I see those petitions, if 1 million people sign this, okay, we're only looking for 100,000 to sign it. Because if 100,000 people sign it, this regime must, by law, respond to it.
Yes.
And we are just dying to hear what they have to say about this.
Exactly, because when they're faced with the legalities, including where it's been pulled from U.S. code, they can't say we're making this up, folks, because these allegations that Craig and I have made are directly from U.S. code, from U.S. law, from the DOJ. They can't get around it. And with 100,000 signatures, they must, by law, address it. Now, I put up this petition 2 days ago. In 2 days, I have gotten 2,145 signatures, and I thank every single person that signed it. However, with what has gone on, just in this week alone, we should be having 50,000 signatures by now. People, don't be afraid to sign it because you think, oh, they're going to find out who I am or where I live. Guess what, folks? They already know who we are. They already know. You don't have to be afraid to sign this. Nobody who signs it is going to be in trouble. The ones with the bullseyes will be me and Craig. And he has his big boy pants on and I have my big girl pants on. We're not afraid. We're already targets. But you who sign it will not be.
Now you can find this petition by going to Diane's blog, thepatriotfactor.blogspot.com. You can find it going to my blog, the nationalpatriot.com. You can find it on Diane Sori's Facebook page. You can find it on my Facebook page. You can find it on CPR's Facebook page. You can find it on our Right Side Patriots Facebook pages.
Every day it goes up. I put it on different sites.
Now I'm going to have it linked. I'm going to have it linked in my article again tomorrow. My weekend edition article that comes out tomorrow is going to be linked in there again. What we want you to do is to find those articles, find that petition, and share them. Share the articles that we've attached the petition to. That way people can see exactly what we're talking about here. And then they can click on the link and they can go and they can sign it. But we've got to get this petition around. We have got to try and force this administration to address this.
Yes, and exactly. Here's something. I've been getting a few things back. The petition is running through change.org. Now, we all know change.org has liberal leanings. The reason it's running through there is, guess what, folks? It is the only petition site that would accept this petition. The only one. None of the other petitions out there list specific codes that he's broken. Specific, there's that pollen, specific laws that he's broken. All of them have been in, general, we need to impeach Obama, blah, blah, blah. Change.org was the only site out there that would accept my petition with the codes and everything in it. So don't be afraid to sign it, folks.
Diane, we've got a caller on the line here. Hi, who's this?
Hi, it's Vicki again.
Hi, Vicki. Welcome back to Right Side Patriots. How are you?
Great. I just wanted to say I went through Wild Bill's site message, and it didn't take me to the petition. So I wrote him back a reply, and it seemed like it had on Diane's site, it had HTTPS on there. So that, I guess, is a key thing, rather than just www. So people are trying to go to change that.
Bill has nothing to do with this petition. I put it up on his site. Now, I have been having trouble with Facebook, as has Craig. They are taking things of ours down. They are screwing with things. They are knocking us off, putting us back. Craig is in Facebook jail. The best way to sign this petition is to go to my timeline, Craig's timeline, CPR, or Right Side Patriots. And that could be Facebook messing with the stuff. But this is not
Yeah.
Bill's petition.
No, this is
true.
this is something that Diane and I did. If you can't find it, once again, I've got it coming out. It's going to be attached at the bottom of the article that I publish tomorrow morning in the National Patriot. So, we're gonna keep this out there as much as we can. We're going to attach it to as many articles as we can just to keep it out there and keep it alive. But
In
when
fact,
you find
I'm
it,
putting it
share it.
I just wanted to
I'm
make a
putting
point
it
that it's
on
hard to find.
I'm putting it on CPR right now, on CPR Media Network group. I just hooked it in there right now. The complete link is there until Facebook screws with it again. But if you go onto CPR, into our chat rooms right now, it is right there.
Hmm. I did sign it because I'm a member of Change.org already, and
Okay.
and I found it on your website
Yes.
and went through that way. But I couldn't find it through Change.org. I searched on it, and I searched, then I went through Wild Bill's email that he sent out, and it didn't go through. So I just wanted to get the word out because people somehow are having trouble getting there.
Well, Vicki, I'm not surprised. I mean, what with Facebook doing what they're doing and everything right now, and it's only going to get worse. But, Diane and I thank you for signing it, and, share the articles where we have it attached too, because that way people will really get to know what this is all about. And all we want to do is get up to that 100,000 mark so that this regime has to address it.
And they
And
have
it's so
to, from now
important.
on. From now on, I will be attaching it at the bottom of my articles that appear usually six days out of 7 a week. I'm going to include it in mine also, and I'm also going to put it on my timeline every day. Put it on the groups I administer on every day. Craig will have it in National Patriot every day. We are getting the word out. It's the matter of we are now being strictly monitored by Facebook, and that's part of the problem.
Okay, well, I just want to let you know that, and I'll let you go, and love you guys.
Oh,
Keep up the good
Vicki,
work.
by golly, we love you too, and thank you for calling. You have yourself a great weekend.
Will do.
Thanks, Vicki.
Always nice to hear from Vicki when she calls in on the show. I love that.
Yes.
And that's the whole idea, folks. If you find it, if you can actually get to it, if Facebook isn't messing with us so much that you can't get to this petition, find it on our blogs, and then share the heck out of it. I mean, put it on your Facebook, put it in, send it out in your email, send it out to your groups, whatever. But let's get this done. I mean, by this time next month, we want this regime to be forced to address this. We're not under the grand, delusion that we're going to get him impeached simply because of this petition, but we're trying to wake enough people up that they will sign it and make him address it.
Exactly. And you want to know something, folks? We should have 1 million signatures because the people are furious. Even if it's half of the population and he keeps his half with the freebies and their handouts and all of that. Even if we had half of the people in this country signing this, that would send a powerful message. And you know what, folks? Some in his own party are starting to desert him. Some of them are putting that Kool-Aid cup down and waking up, hey, this man is even destroying our party. We need to do things like this, but we need specifics in it, not generalities, impeach Obama. Well, now Craig and I have those specifics.
We actually show you the laws. We actually show you the laws that he has broken and what the penalties for those laws, those breaking those laws are. Exactly. And that's why Diane's going to go back into this petition. She's going to add the stuff into it that she's got in her article today in the patriotfactor.blogspot.com. This has to get out there, folks. We have to let people know that something is being done. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who say, well, why didn't you people raise all sorts of hell when Bush was starting an illegal war? Well, it wasn't an illegal war. He had the backing of Congress. He went to Congress, he got it. Well, Bush lied to get that. No, he didn't. He relied on intelligence information gathered not only from our intelligence people, but from those around the world. And they were all being fooled by Saddam Hussein, and Saddam Hussein admitted it.
You want to know something, guys? And this is a sticking point with me. Bush had it right. Those chemical weapons that Saddam had, that our intelligence showed the trucks moving them, those trucks were moving them to Syria. Those chemical weapons that Assad is using, those are the ones that Hussein moved from Iraq into Syria. Bush had it right. And the left can scream all they want. This war was not an illegal war. Congress supported it. Hillary Clinton voted for it.
Well, and then the other thing, Diane, is, I've got liberals popping up all over in comments on my blog and everything. Well, you never said anything when Bush released 400 or 500 prisoners from Gitmo. Well, you know what? Bush, first of all, was not required to notify Congress 30 days before he did anything like that. Okay, and if Congress wanted to be notified, Congress was run by the liberals back then, so they could have insisted on it, but they didn't. But the other thing is, when Bush released those people, he was releasing low-end people, and he was doing it at the insistence of the liberals in Congress to let those people out.
Exactly.
When Bush did it, he released them back to their country of origin.
Yes.
Which is within the law.
He followed the law. The countries they were citizens of is the countries they went back to. And that says it all, folks. That really is it in a nutshell. This president has broken not only that law, he's committed sedition. He's committed aiding and abetting and malfeasance, which Craig explains in some of his articles. There is a trail here, a trail of breaking not only international law, but United States law. We need one man in Congress or one woman in Congress to put on their big girl and boy pants and get up there and stand in the hall of Congress and say, we demand the impeachment of Barack Hussein Obama on the grounds of, and rattle them off.
And that's where we, the people, come in. We can put the heat on Congress to do what's right and do what's lawful and uphold the laws of this country. And we can start by signing this petition and getting it circulated to members of Congress. But Diane, we're out of time.
Oh, wow. It went fast.
It did. We've gone through an entire Saturday show, folks. We want to thank you all for listening today. If you missed the show with Waleed Shubat from last Wednesday, stand by, folks. In about 3 minutes and 45 seconds, it's going to be rebroadcast. If you're not sick of Diane and I by now, you will be after another 2 hours. But Diane, you and I will be back next Wednesday with a whole bunch more from Right Side Patriots. So have yourselves a great weekend, folks. Let's get out there and take this country back. Say goodbye, Diane.
Bye, guys.
Sometimes I wanna light up underneath the no smoking sign. Sometimes I wish they'd tell me how justice got so blind. I wish they'd just leave me alone, 'cause I'm doing alright. You can take your change on down the road and leave me here with mine. 'Cause that ain't my America, that ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam old Uncle Sam, but I ain't letting you. I'm mad as hell and you know I still bleed red, white and blue. They ain't us, $1 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No.